It's happy hour again from Central City, New Orleans at Casa Borrega. Hi, I'm Grant Morris. Believe me, there's nothing in the next 60 minutes that requires your full attention. So for right now, if you've got a moment before you get to the point of the show where you think, oh, this is a bunch of shit, take a moment and go to Facebook and like Casa Borrega where we're sitting. It's a beautiful club. It's going to be open in about a month.
Yep.
It's a restaurant, it's a bar, and it's a music venue. And it's awesome. Check it out on Facebook. Casa Borrega is the deal. In the next 60 minutes here on Happy Hour, you're going to meet just 4 of the many thousands of fascinating people who live in New Orleans, and you'll get to hear some live music, lots of it actually today. At the end of the show, you might conclude New Orleans is a great city where people love to talk, have fun, and enjoy great music, but you probably know that already. So let's get right on with doing nothing, but enjoying the next 60 minutes of Happy Hour together. My fabulous guests sitting around the table here at Casa Borrega are quite an impressive bunch of talent, actually. Brie Librand has held more consecutive titles in the world of beauty than anyone in the history of Louisiana, including, listen to this, Miss Louisiana Teen. You were Miss Louisiana?
Yes.
How about that? Miss Louisiana Teen, Miss Metairie. Now, what sort of competition is there for Miss Metairie? Look how gorgeous you are. Really?
There was a
You
lot
must
of
be the best looking woman in Metairie by far, aren't you?
Thank you.
You'd have taken Kenner by storm, too. No
Yeah, why didn't you? That's a good point. Why didn't you go for Miss Kenner?
Yeah, I definitely would have won that one.
Miss West Bank.
Do you have Miss West Bank? Did you have to live in
You could have
Metairie?
swept the whole.
I used to date Miss Algiers, bruh. Yeah.
What was that?
She was all right.
What was her real name? Miss Algiers. I said, listen, what year were you Miss Metairie, by the way?
I won 2 years in a row, which is kind of rare. I think it was 02 and 03. It was a while ago.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, let's get into that because I haven't even finished. Miss National American.
National American Miss.
National American Miss. Oh, they changed it around on me. National American Miss. What does that mean exactly?
It's a really big pageant. Actually, they're doing it again, I think, next week.
Really?
Yeah.
Why is it called National American Miss and not Miss National American, though?
I don't know.
You didn't think to ask anyone that during the
I will make an inquiry
during the
for
talent
you.
section of that? You could have said, could you tell me something?
I would.
Okay, we can find that out. Maybe someone can Google that for us in the course of the show. What else were you? You were Miss Louisiana United States. That's a different one.
It is a different one.
As
There's
opposed to
all
Miss
kinds
Louisiana.
of different pageants.
Is there a Miss Louisiana Russia?
I wouldn't doubt it.
What is Miss Louisiana United States? I'm sorry to go on about this. We haven't even started the whole
It goes to different
show.
systems. There's one system
Oh,
that
I
goes
see.
to
It's
the
a
Donald Trump
competitive
system. Then there's one that goes to Miss World.
And what's the Donald Trump one?
That's Miss USA.
Did you meet Donald Trump?
No, I didn't compete.
Oh, you
in
haven't done that one? Okay.
No.
I haven't finished reading them yet. And also Miss American Co-Ed. Okay. Brie is a model and actress and a celebrity on YouTube where she is a New Orleans beauty guru. Brie's Beauty Guru YouTube. I can't read this. It's very hard to read. Brie's Beauty Guru YouTube channel. You try saying that. Who wrote this?
That was intentional, wasn't it?
Here's my sidekick, Andrew Duhon. Andrew, you read this.
Oh, man, don't make me do it. Breeze Beauty Guru YouTube channel.
I know, it's very hard to read. It's called My Red Solara, which is a lot easier to read. Has had nearly 2.5 million views and counting. In the latest escapades, Brie has taken her followers to Mardi Gras, shopping in New York, and held forth on her second annual scathing makeup review, Products I Regret Buying, which I actually watched, which is really funny, actually.
Nice.
Brie, welcome to Happy Hour.
Hi,
that was
thank you
quite
for
an introduction,
having me.
wasn't it? You're welcome. On my left, Chet Porshow is here as well. Chet is a New Orleans designer and media celebrity, a real celebrity. Isn't that, no, should I do that again?
You should.
A real celebrity. Chet is WVUE TV's Fox 8's resident designer with 2 weekly ongoing segments on design and fashion. On the local PBS station WLAE, Chet is the host of Chet Chat. Well, someone just walked in here right now 5 seconds ago and said, is this Chet Chat?
Yeah, she thought we were taping Chet Chat.
Well, do people follow you around the country or
They
something?
do, all around New Orleans,
Well,
and all around the country.
How'd they know you were going to be here, though?
I have no idea.
Are you serious?
I don't
You have a
know.
stalker.
Exactly.
Do you have, like, security people?
I do.
Do
He's
you-
right there.
I'd be scared if people were following me around saying, "Is this Chet Chat?"
No, I'm fine with that.
I like
I
it.
kind of like it.
Chet. Okay. Well, I guess it's one thing worse than being talked about.
That's true.
You know, not being talked about. Okay, on WLAE, Chet is the host of Chet Chat, where he talks about design and do-it-yourself projects in a non-design-related media foray. Chet is currently a contestant on Season 4 of the Food Network's Worst Cooks in America.
Oh, no.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, what a thing to admit. I could have won that hands down if I'd known there was a competition.
I don't know. They had some pretty bad cooks there.
Really?
So, yeah, including myself.
How bad are you?
Pretty bad. I mean, I lived off of protein powder and oatmeal, so, that's kind of
Protein powder and oatmeal.
Yeah.
That sounds.
You should know. You do pageants. You know, it's
Why
like
you
eating
doing
the same thing.
You were living off protein powder because you were trying to preserve
I
your
live
girlish
off of gummy
figure.
bears.
No.
Okay. Chet has a design store on Magazine Street. He's been featured in every magazine known to mankind in Louisiana, and he's a past manager of Gucci.
Right.
That's impressive. And a member of the Select American Society of Interior Designers. Chet, welcome to Happy Hour.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. This is the best introduction I've ever done. I think.
Yeah, so
Don't
far
you
it's
think?
pretty smooth. You
I
usually
know.
fuck it up by now.
I know. It's great.
But there's
Jack
still one
Locke
to
is
go.
here too. Jack Locke, welcome back to Happy Hour. Jack Locke was one of our very, very first guests on Happy Hour when we first started out in
nice.
1963. But check this out. This guy is amazing. Jack is one of my favorite guests. He's a singer, a songwriter, an author, a game designer, a screenwriter, and film director.
Sweet.
Now, you might think, okay, that guy's full of shit. How could you do all of those?
Right.
But he does them all, and they're all great. Jack's current live music acts include the Jack Locke Rock Show, the Nola Treblemakers, the currently nameless trio, Freak Show to Go, and Jack is a four-letter word, which is really funny because Jack is spelled J-A-K.
Nice.
And Locke has a C in it, but
Right.
Jack doesn't.
One C limit.
Jack's latest recording projects include Jack Locke Goes Too Far, a collection of songs so offensive they've gotten Jack kicked off stage and out of venues. And listen to this one. He's also put out a 3-sided EP.
Ooh.
Yes.
It's funny how in all the years you've seen records, who's ever thought of that? Andrew, you've been in the music business.
Yeah,
for
I'm trying to figure out
three-sided
physically
EP.
how to make that happen. Is it a triangle? What's going on?
Yeah. No, it's actually 4-sided. It's a cassette release, double cassette sort of
can't
thing
read?
because I'm a terrible hipster.
Chet, it says 3-sided here, right?
It does.
Help me out. Don't,
Yeah, it
don't,
does.
don't
So
drop
it's-
me in it.
it's
Before I
3-sided,
finish the introductions. even.
Side A, side B, side C. I released as 3 separate EPs online only.
Cool.
And then I had this idea to put them out on a cassette, so I had an extra side. So I was like, okay, well, I'll just record some more stuff and make side B. So
That's as like a bonus side.
Right,
On a
yeah.
cassette. Who's still got a cassette player, by the way?
probably nobody.
wouldn't
I
think
haven't
so.
sold any of them yet.
I was actually hoping you'd say something like, so I had the side D, so I just recorded 15 minutes of silence and then blew a raspberry at the end or something. And that was it.
Does anybody...
Well, okay, it's going to have side E now.
Okay, let's just do a random swap around the table. Who's... Chet, you got a cassette player?
I do not.
No. Jack, do you have one yourself?
Well, yeah.
Well,
You've
obviously
got
he has one.
oh,
I had
wow,
to make
okay.
him
Well,
say it.
Bree, you have a cassette
I
player?
did until 2 months ago.
Oh,
What
wow.
happened to it?
I got a new car.
Got it repossessed? Oh,
So my old car, my red Solara, did in fact have a cassette player.
so you did actually have
I
it. Actually,
did,
there is
and
a
I had
real
one
red
in it.
But there's a real red Solara with a
Yes.
cassette. Well, who got that? Is it on eBay or something?
I'm sure it is by now.
Really? That
I
must
traded it in.
What did you get?
I got a Mercedes.
Oh.
So things are pretty good on YouTube.
Yeah, so now it's my red Mercedes, but I can't change my YouTube name, so
You have a red Mercedes.
yes, I do.
So we have this shitty little camera up here. Do you think I could eventually be driving around in a red Mercedes if
You
we
could.
you can make enough money off YouTube?
You can.
Wow.
Are you? I mean, let's be serious for one second.
Be serious,
Is
you
that
can.
true?
It is true.
You're not making money off many
It's
other
not
projects
just
as well.
YouTube. I mean, I do movies, I do commercials.
No, well, that's different.
I do a
If
lot
I
of
was a
different
movie
things,
star, then
but
maybe I'd have a red Mercedes.
there are
So-
definitely people on YouTube that make enough money.
Well, there are. Yeah, but
Yes.
that's only if you have like one of those Korean videos. That
No, not at all.
82 billion. Yeah,
Doing beauty
if I did-
videos, you can make enough
Yeah,
money.
she's right. She's absolutely right.
Could
you
we?
can. Yeah.
You can,
Oh,
Chet.
yeah.
Now, have you done this?
I have not. No.
Okay, so anyone looking at this live feed up here, tell your friends, how many people do we need to watch it to go out and get a Mercedes out of this?
A lot.
A lot. Damn it, that's the problem. Well, so far we have 2 or 3
But
people
if you
watching it.
diversify your portfolio and have more than one video, then
We had 2 cameras, you mean?
know,
Yeah,
hey,
that
you
might
know,
help.
Feed
Well, we did
2,
think of that.
same shit, different feed. Yeah.
Good idea. That's not a bad idea. We just put it up like 100 times. You think that let's like buy a bigger truck or something.
Diversify.
Yeah, I like that thinking. I was going to finish introducing Jack, and Jack is the writer and director of a movie in progress called Targeted, which you get so many things to talk about. We did a whole show on you alone. Targeted is inspired by a screenplay Jack wrote at the age of 6.
Wow.
And he's the author of a brilliant novel called Frogdale's Junkyard, which, believe it or not, I've actually read this novel. It's awesome. Can you read, Chet?
Barely.
Barely. Okay,
Yeah.
well, this would be good for you because it's
Yeah.
in big print.
Oh, okay, cool. But maybe you could just read it to me.
Are there
I will.
pictures?
Come on over. Come on over. I'll read you the first chapter. It's really an exceptionally good book. And Andrew, how often do I say anything nice about anybody?
Not too often. You usually call their bullshit and it gets real awkward.
but this stuff is. This book is. Such a great book, and I'm serious. It's probably free on Kindle or cheap or something, right?
I need to put it on Kindle.
It's not even on Kindle?
No, I haven't gotten
First of
around
all, you
to
put
it
out
yet.
a fucking record on cassette,
Right.
and now you have a novel which is seriously
I
awesome.
bet you don't drive a Mercedes.
I don't. I drive a Kia Soul. It's the ugly thing out there down the
There
street.
you go. So you don't have it together. You need management. Do you have a manager, Jack?
I don't. No, I do everything myself.
Bree, do you have a manager?
Of course I do.
Well, see, there you go. Who's
There we
your
go.
manager?
Open range management?
Do they take, like, guys like Jack?
Maybe.
What is a guy like me?
Well, I
I
don't know.
that hesitation.
Maybe.
Maybe.
It depends
Handsome,
on if
suave.
he hires me as an actor or not.
Okay.
In the next
In the
film.
movie.
Yeah.
Which
Jack, have you won any
It's,
pageants?
What's do I look like I won any pageants?
Well, let's talk about beauty is in the eye of the beholder. You know?
Right.
Beauty is not just what you see on the outside, Jack.
Well, it's true, but most people have a very short attention span. For
They
that.
do. Sorry, I
about-
just forgot what we were
What
talking
about Mr. Louisiana? Is there a Mr. Louisiana?
There is.
Wow.
Is there?
But that's in the bodybuilding.
Oh, right,
competition.
right.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
okay. Not
yeah.
beauty.
Well, like you
Well,
just said, it depends on what you consider beautiful.
No, well, I guess women.
There's women bodybuilding as well.
There's a women's bodybuilding, but why would Mr. Louisiana have to be bodybuilding, and couldn't it just be a swimsuit competition?
Well, that would be a figure competition, so there's kind of that as well.
There is. What's that called?
Mr. Physique,
Really?
Uh-huh.
Mr. Physique Louisiana.
Yep.
How do you know this sort of thing,
because
Chet?
I used to bodybuild.
Really? Did you? You
Yes.
look like in good shape still.
You just asked me why did I eat protein powder and oatmeal, and
That was
I
why.
explained.
Okay. So what do you do how did you quit, I should say? Start at the end.
How did I quit?
Yeah, why did you quit
'Cause
bodybuilding?
I needed to find a job that I could really make money at, not give
Not
money away.
bodybuilding.
No, right.
Oh, you were trying to do that professionally?
I was not. I was just doing it locally, statewide.
Right. Well, that's interesting.
Yeah, it is.
What did you do? How many competitions a week do you have to do? Or-
Well, it's not a week. It's like a cycle. Whenever they do it, it's
Oh, there's
usually
a
during the
season?
summer. During the summertime. That's when it happens.
Wow. What goes on? You have to parade around in little speedos?
Yes,
I'd be
indeed.
so embarrassed. Are you like an
Do you have
exhibitionist? Or?
pictures?
No, actually, no. Actually, that's kind of funny you asked that because before I did my first show, I actually had to wear my Speedos underneath my clothes so I could feel comfortable with
Yeah, I
it before
bet.
I took it off. So.
Yeah, that's
Wow.
a strange thing for a guy to do, to get up in front of people in speedos, isn't
Yeah.
it?
Now tell them about the butt glue.
Oh, that kind of holds your. Yeah, you tell them about it.
What, does it hold the two halves of your butt together, or does it hold?
No,
the-
it holds
It
your
holds your
swimsuit
swimsuit where it's supposed to be, but when you
Yeah.
take the swimsuit off, it takes a whole layer of your butt off as well. So
Wow.
literally, like imagine the worst brush burn you ever had, but on your tuchus.
Sounds awesome.
But it's worth it though because you've won Miss
Because you
Miss
win,
Metairie.
right?
You know, Bree, it's funny. This last weekend, I judged the Miss LSU USA pageant, and I walked backstage, and they were using that butt glue. Yep,
Where do you buy butt glue?
at the butt store.
Where
At
do you-
pageant stores.
Chet, come on, tell us. Where would you go to get? I guess online.
Online, exactly.
Yeah,
That's what
because you
do.
don't want to be walking into like Gordon's and Metairie and saying,
You
"Do
have
you
any
guys
butt
have
glue?
butt glue?"
And that's
What
what,
is
they
it?
market it as? Butt
Butt
glue?
glue.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it is
Fantastic.
for swimsuits.
Andrew Duhon is here as well, by the way. He's our happy hour troubadour who has
Good to
a
see ya.
new record come out. It's not out yet. It's called The Moorings, and he's going to play something off it in a little while. For
Who
us.
said that? I would not know.
I'm sure he will. And
had a
Graham
different
DePonte,
idea.
our fabulous producer, you have a different idea. You're not going to play off anything. I'm
No.
not going to say anything more about that. But that album is awesome. Andrew wanders around the world, and when he gets back to town, he wanders back in here to the Casa Borrega.
They have the
Table.
beer in the buckets. I like
And
that.
what have you got? Beer? We've got Dixie beer today. We're drinking.
It's nice.
So butt glue. What does it look like? Does it come in a tube?
It's a spray.
It's a spray on.
wow.
Oh, nice. Who sprays it on for you?
You have to have help.
Yeah.
Who sprayed on your butt
My
glue, Bree?
grandmother.
Oh no!
Man.
My
Oh,
grandmother.
that's a nice family you have there, the
She's
Librand
a
family.
wonderful
Now,
woman.
now, if this is stuff that takes your skin off, why would you want it in a spray? Wouldn't you want to be able to apply it in a thin strip so that that's the only piece that gets removed?
Good question.
You have to spray it all on there because,
Yeah.
I mean, girls have badonkadonk.
Right.
So you have to really get it on there to stay.
What
where
if
it
you
needs
sprayed
to
the suit
be.
first? That way it only
It
got
doesn't
that.
work.
Because you would mess up the suit. I mean, come on.
Right.
Right,
That's
right.
more-
It
Yeah,
will
no,
stain.
that makes
Yeah.
sense.
Do you have
Yeah.
to spray it on your entire butt, or can you just put like a dot here and a dot?
No, you have to spray it on your whole butt.
God.
What
It's
is it?
awful.
Can you just tell me the honest truth for a minute? What is the name of the product?
I don't remember.
I don't remember either.
Boudreaux's butt paste?
It's just butt.
That is a different
Totally
use,
the opposite,
right?
but that would be kind of would be a good name for it.
Totally.
What is Boudreaux's butt paste? That's
I think it's
for
like baby.
Chafing.
diaper
Yeah.
rash. or
Yeah.
something.
For the opposite. Exactly.
So-
Exactly. You put it on after you take that off.
Exactly.
If somebody could come up with a butt glue that didn't take a layer of skin off, you could make some money here, right?
It would be fabulous.
What about working on that, Chet, in your spare time between
I don't have
Chet
any spare
Chat
time
and
and
your design
to do
store?
butt glue. I don't-
We
What
need,
about
a,
all the
we, need a,
time?
we need a butt glue anti-venom is what we need.
Yeah.
Thibodeau's butt paste.
What about what about like stuff that takes off nail polish? You like nail polish remover?
Yeah,
What's in
right.
that? Like some acetate type thing.
That might work.
I know this
Oh,
acetone, yeah.
Acetone.
Yeah.
You could pour that down your swimsuit or whatever you wear. What are you wearing? You're wearing your little Speedos. And what are you wearing? Some tight little bikini. bottom.
Swimsuit, bikini, yes.
Well, someone's going to have to ask this question. What about the front of the suit?
Oh my!
It stays.
That's
That stays by itself,
it stays.
okay?
If you don't have
How?
what it takes, then you put things in
No,
there.
not mean your boobs. I mean the front of your bottom part.
Oh, well, that should. I didn't.
How
use
does that stay? I'm serious.
That's
That's a
not-
good
people need-
question.
I would think it wouldn't be like it's not like
It's not like your vagina
Right.
eats it. or
But
anything.
why,
Well, let's hope
why
not.
doesn't the swimsuit stick to
If
you?
it does, you shouldn't be in the competition.
Should be in a different
good.
competition.
Something else. Why would it stick to your vagina, the swimsuit, and not to your butt, I wonder?
Opposite.
Well, I know
'Cause
where
your
it is,
butt
yes.
eats it, but your vag doesn't.
Eat it. What do you mean by eat it?
Like when you get a wedgie.
A wedge.
Oh, I see. Oh, that's what you're trying to avoid.
Yes, no
There's
wedgies.
no vag wedge, just
Right.
a butt wedge.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah, there you
oh,
go.
I didn't know what I thought the object was just to make it look tight, but you're trying to stop it riding up
Right,
your butt.
exactly.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Because
all
you're
right.
marching around and posing, and
Right.
it's the most unnatural thing in the world.
How did you learn to do that, Brie?
I've always done modeling and pageants since I was very young.
What was that little kid that got killed? The
John Benet Ramsey.
John Benet Ramsey.
Oh,
yeah.
man, we're going back there.
Yeah.
You remember that?
Wow, yeah, I remember that.
I loved that because I was on the radio in those days, and you got to say 6-year-old beauty queen. Any day, I thought any day. you
Shows
could
about
say-
it these days,
any
man.
day you could say
Yeah.
6-year-old beauty queen is a good day. Were you 6 years old when you were a beauty queen?
I don't think I was 6. I did modeling and things like that when I was
Things
2
like
and
that.
3. I did
2 and
things
3.
like that. But yeah, I trained when you're 2 weeks, you can start doing pageants. And I trained the
Hang on,
baby
hang on,
Miss
hang on.
Metairie.
Wait. 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
That can't be legal.
It's legal. You just
What-
have to have
what
a
ha-
pretty baby and walk it around on stage.
What happens? Chet, you know all about this. Chet, how do people know all this stuff?
because it's like you don't know who Honey Boo Boo is.
Yeah, Honey Boo Boo
Yeah.
Child.
Well,
Okay, that's how
That's how
she got to
started.
start
Yeah.
Right.
as a 2-week-old model.
Right.
I think most people would.
And you
think-
put their baby wigs on and put their baby fake eyelashes.
You don't watch Toddlers and Tiaras on like TLC?
It's the best
Isn't that
show.
crazy that I don't watch that? What's it?
Oh my gosh.
What's it called? Toddlers.
Toddlers and Tiaras.
No, I would.
It's
Do you watch
so
Do you
it?
have a
good.
television?
I do have a television, but
It's
I have
on
never watched.
Do you have
Netflix.
cable?
It's on. Yeah, I could watch it on
Okay.
Netflix, I guess.
You
Yes.
could. It's amazing.
But I like how you're looking at me like I'm some sort of a freak because I don't watch a show about children and beauty pageants.
He watches
It's
it.
been so much controversy in the news lately. I would
What-
think everybody would kind of know about that.
Right.
You would think that. What has the controversy been about exactly?
Just how it's not. A lot of people don't think it's appropriate to have kids in pageants at such young ages. It could be really bad for like their self-esteem.
Oh, I thought it
and-
was just me who
Well,
thought that.
it's one of those train wreck reality shows where
Yeah.
people in it think they're being lionized when in fact they're
Being
being put
laughed
on
at.
display and
Yeah.
laughed at. Yeah.
People don't care
and
about
it's kind of
that.
sad in a way,
Sure.
but
Oh, I don't
it's
think
what
so.
sells. You don't
it,
think
it
so?
builds so much confidence and it teaches you propriety.
No, pageants I do think do that.
Definitely.
I'm talking about like to have a show like Honey Boo Boo latch
Oh,
on. That's
definitely.
like, and I think that's what you're talking about.
You see
right?
the
Sure.
bad
Well,
side of it. You
yeah,
don't see
yeah.
that person that went on to be a success
Exactly.
doing pageants.
Right.
And it really puts a negative light on what we do.
And a lot of pageants, I mean, I could be wrong, but I think it helps
No
with.
way.
I'm always right. I think a lot of pageants also help to pay for a lot of girls' college, right?
Exactly.
And that's a big thing.
So does stripping.
That's
True.
true.
Who did we have on the show who told us she put herself through college as a stripper?
And
I
what's
don't
wrong with
remember.
that?
Did we?
And then she dropped out. Yeah,
Out of stripping, out of school.
dropped out of school. And she
She
paid,
didn't drop out of stripping.
No, actually, she dropped out of school and she paid all her Miss Mac, the singer. She paid all her loans back.
I don't think I was here.
You missed that show?
Yeah, I must have
She
missed
paid
it.
all her loans back in like 18 months working in a strip club, and she
Wow.
wasn't even stripping.
Good
How
for
do I?
her.
How do I get?
I will
she
pay
was-
my student loans forever. Like I will be 90 still paying my student
Well,
loans.
you've got that red Mercedes. Why can't you pay? Don't you have any sense of propriety?
No, I have to have the hot car. And
Yeah.
to pay it off like $2 at a time.
What
Like
did you?
everybody.
What degree did you get?
Acting.
And a degree? Is there such a thing as a degree in acting?
At Tulane, yes.
Really? You have a degree
Theater.
from Tulane in
Yes,
acting? That's
I'm smart.
expensive. That's an expensive acting degree.
It is, yeah.
What else do you have? What do they teach you? How to be what? Convincingly fat? You have to do like Shakespeare and stuff?
Yes, Shakespeare.
Do you still do that?
Yes, I do.
Are you doing like a real play at the moment or anything?
I haven't done any plays. I did a Popeye's commercial a couple months ago.
No, that pays.
I was the only white girl in the commercial. They're like,
really?
yeah, we need one white one, and you're it.
The other white
Awesome.
girl.
Yeah, so
Well,
I'm
that's-
the white girl in the Popeye's commercial.
And
They
what
had
did
all
you-
black guys in there like me eating Popeye's chicken, right?
What did you have to do?
Eat chicken.
Walk in the door.
Don't eat. No, you don't eat. They don't have anyone eating on these commercials. You even noticed that?
You know, that's
They
right.
don't.
No,
They
my
never
God, that
do.
would put you
Nobody
off the
drinks
whole
a beer
thing.
either.
Yeah,
Yeah.
No one drinks
eating's
either.
disgusting.
Yeah, they just open it and walk around with it, like getting out of the
Yeah.
refrigerator. But no one actually eats or drinks those things. And you ever see these commercials for hamburgers and stuff? How they have these close-ups?
Yeah.
This makes you feel sick, doesn't it?
How fake does that stuff
I
look?
don't think so. It looks
Don't you
so
love
good.
it?
Yeah.
Really, it looks good.
It
I
makes
always
you a
makes-
hamburger.
It does make. It's supposed to
the
make
goal.
you want a hamburger. I don't know. It always makes me feel like that's the last thing I want to eat. That's some sort of that Red Lobster thing dropping into an ice bucket or whatever the hell that is. It makes me.
A natural sheen.
It
all
doesn't
over
look right somehow.
Yeah.
What did you have to do in the Popeyes commercial? Really?
I walked through a door.
That was it.
That was it. That's all I had to do.
How do you get? So you have a casting agent who does all that
Yes.
for you, right? That's pretty
It
good.
was
What's their
fun.
take?
Yeah.
What's their take? Casting agent.
I have no idea.
Oh.
What's
They just
the
said walk the
percentage?
door, and they
No,
paid
what's
me
the
well
perc-
for it.
Oh, you don't know what her percentage is. Come on, you have to know that.
Oh,
That's
my
what your
agent's
question is, right?
percentage? 10 to 15%.
It's not bad.
Is that good?
Yeah.
Okay.
Especially if they're
That's
bringing
good.
in the biz.
Jack, we haven't hardly said one single word to
He's
you.
just laughing the whole
He's
time.
just sitting there. He's got
Just
so much
enjoying
to,
the
he's
conversation.
got
Fun though,
so
right?
much to catch up on. Hey, why don't we get you to play something for a start? That'll be a
Okay.
good idea. Okay, that'll start off things, and then we'll come back and talk about. We have to talk about the movie. Well, let's
Okay,
just-
if you like.
Let's start off with the movie for 1 second before I make you play something.
All
else.
right.
So the last time you were here, you were going to make this movie called. You were making two movies. One was called Targeted, and the other was called.
Targeted with 3 exclamation points.
Right.
That was the
okay.
other one.
There are two movies called Targeted. One had 3 exclamation points. That was the one you wrote when you were 6.
When I was 6.
And then
yes.
you rewrote that in the sort of a.
Yeah, and sort of like a Tarantino Western kind of thing. This was before I had even heard about Django Unchained. So everybody was like, "Oh, you're just trying to make that?" I'm like, "No, I really am not."
Well, that's unfortunate. Is it similar to
not-
Django Unchained?
It isn't at all, but it's just that whole sort of Western Tarantino-esque kind of feel.
Well, God,
to
if you
it,
could
so.
be halfway as good as Quentin Tarantino,
Right,
then
yeah.
you'll be doing fine.
1/8 as good.
An eighth
you know?
even. You'd have that red
That's kind of
Mercedes
the whole reason I'm doing the movie thing is to see if I'm any good at it because I've always been interested in that long before I was ever involved in music.
Really?
It was always movies. That's what I wanted to do was direct and act. And
What I really
something
want to do
like that.
is direct.
Right.
How strange. You actually mean that.
Right. Yeah. So this is sort of my way of figuring out if I can do anything.
Well, how far
with-
into it? Well, you've got last time we were just going to start filming. You were casting it, I think.
Right, yeah.
So
I was
you've
still
st-
doing a lot of pre-production and buying stuff. We've shot about half of the movie because nobody's getting paid. It's very, very super underground.
Hard to get actors to show up.
Well, I mean, we got some really good, dedicated actors and crew, but it's just because it's not paid, we're limited to like Sundays and stuff like that. And,
Right.
People like this Sunday I wanted to film, but we obviously can't because it's Easter.
Was it some religious things?
Right? Yeah, it's this religion.
in the Bible?
that's,
Who cares? I mean, people are busy.
American
People are busy
religion.
going to a crawfish boil or something. Thanks, Brad.
Well, no, yeah, people have a lot of them have like families and stuff.
No,
so
you cast the
hide
wrong people.
eggs or
You got to
whatever.
cast different people.
What kind of actor doesn't show up because you wouldn't worry
Yeah.
about that, would you? Bree,
Hire
you'd show
from
up
the-
on a Sunday, Easter Sunday.
For nothing, I
For-
doubt
no,
she would.
No.
I don't think.
If you paid
Chet,
me
would you
really
work for
well,
nothing?
sure.
Right.
Well, I mean, I always, love giving back, but, on a holiday, I mean, that might be kind of...
I don't even
That
want
might
to
be
do it on
kinda
a holiday.
hard.
Okay, all right. Even the director doesn't want to. So, how much of the movie? How long is the movie?
It's going
When
to
it's
be
gonna be.
since there's two of them. I mean, they're going to both be kind of short films. The first one I've sort of timed out to be about 45, 50 minutes.
Well, that's not that short.
right.
That's a
The
pretty
second
decent-
one that I wrote when I was 6, that's probably going to be closer to about 20 or 30 minutes.
You wrote a 20-minute movie when you were 6 years old.
It's so shitty. You really need to read.
What the
script.
hell, though?
It's
still
so bad.
it's still a 40. What did you say? 40 minutes?
Well,
20
no,
20
no,
minutes.
20,
It's a
20,
20-minute
20 to
movie.
30 minutes.
That's
yeah.
a pretty. I mean, when you're
That's
6
a
years
lot.
old,
Yeah, that's a lot of attention.
That's character-
I'm pretty
yeah.
proud of my younger self.
So is that-
for
yeah, that's impressive. That's got character.
I don't
Yeah.
have that much attention span right now.
If you,
You're not even paying attention.
Exactly, I'm not. I'm
Wait,
like,
what?
what's next?
So if you feel like it's shitty though, are you making it simply because you wrote it at 6?
That was the thing. That was kind of the whole impetus for the whole project. Was I found this script on a disc with a bunch of other stuff that I'd done when I was that age. It was like a 5 1/4-inch floppy disk for an Atari computer.
Nice. Yeah.
And so I found this thing, and I was reading it, and I was actually on the phone with one of my good friends who I'd known back then. We'd been friends for a very long time, and I told him, you got to hear this. This is incredibly stupid. And I read the whole script to him, and he was like, "Wouldn't it be funny if you filmed that? Because I've got a lot of friends who are really good at they're documentarians and stuff, so they've got access to really good equipment, and so the more that I thought about it, the more it was like that would be a kick to do. And I started buying all this stuff like props and costumes and lights and things, and eventually got to the point where I'd put so much money and had so many people involved with it that it was like it would be a real waste of resources and talent to just do this stupid 6-year-old's movie. So I wrote a much better story using the same characters and settings, but much.
Would you want to screen them back to back?
I'm not sure yet. I haven't really gotten to that point. I want to have them put together, filmed, and edited, and so that I can see them, so that then I can decide how I want to.
Do you act as well?
Yes.
You have a voice for television and radio.
Oh, thank you very much.
Don't you think?
Yes, you could have a future. These guys could
you
hook
really
you up.
do.
Oh, thank you very much.
Is your film going to be SAG? Under
no.
new media?
No, it's not. I've already had to turn away a couple of people who were SAG because there was just so many requirements on the part of the production.
What would that mean? That means if you're in the
facilitate
Screen Actors Guild.
that. Right, yeah.
Right.
So if you're a SAG member,
He's looking for slave labor, is what he's saying.
yeah.
Pretty much, yeah.
So you can't. So you're SAG, right? You can't.
Right.
You can't work
So,
on.
yeah,
it.
she couldn't
Right,
do
but
it
if
at
you
all.
made it SAG, it's a right to work state. You still don't have to pay anyone. And it
What's the
benefits your
definition?
actors because then they could be SAG since
I'm not SAG, so I could work on
You
your
can do it, Chet. I can hook you up here. What's the definition of a SAG movie if it's not protected income? I mean, wages. What is it? What do you have to do to be SAG then? I mean,
just
not
have
you
to have
personally.
lines.
No, but
in
then
a
what
SAG
does the
film.
SAG? What does the SAG production have to be different from a non-SAG production?
It really doesn't have to be. I mean, they just
Okay.
you have to
I just
write
saw
Just
down.
nominate. You just
enough
nominate
to-
that it's SAG, don't you?
right. Well,
you
they
don't
have
pay
to
your health
approve it. They
insurance.
have to say it's good enough to be SAG.
Oh my God!
That's
Are you kidding?
it.
Some bunch of screen actors have to tell you that your film's good enough to get made.
Right.
Screw that. That would be
No,
so.
it's simple. It's really simple.
Yeah,
and
but
it's
who are
fun.
these people to tell Jack Locke? for
Yeah,
God's
I
sake?
changed my mind. Go with the slave labor.
Come on.
Because I wrote a short film and I made it
Yeah.
SAG.
You did.
And I made sure that I had people that needed to be SAG in the industry, and that's who I cast.
That's awesome.
So what's your movie called?
It's called Waiting on Godot.
Waiting on Godot, not
It's
waiting
a
for
spin
Godot.
off on Waiting for Godot.
You could be sued by Samuel Beckett for that, I assume, or the
Maybe.
estate of Samuel Beckett.
Maybe.
Is it a joke?
It's making it more literal. Like, it centers in a diner, and you're actually waiting on people.
Okay, that's
You're waiting
funny.
tables. So
That
it
is
takes the
good.
whole theme of you wait
That's
your whole
awesome.
life, and you're really waiting. And it's all actors that are waiting tables trying to make their break.
Okay, that's funny. Is it funny, actually?
It's
Or is
funny.
it supposed
It's
to
very
be?
funny, especially if you've ever been in the service industry.
Were you a waitress as well?
Yes, my family owns a restaurant, so
Hey, which
I'm
one?
always Big Easy Diner in Slidell.
Come on, really?
So I'm in there at least once a week. Like, oh, tip money, that'd be
Why
fun.
are you not Miss Slidell?
A Miss Big Easy waitress or
Miss
something.
Big-
Yeah, right?
Did you grow up in Slidell as well?
No, I grew up here, New Orleans, Metairie.
Right. Why'd they open a diner in Slidell of all places?
We had them all over until Katrina.
Oh, really? Where else were they?
We had several. We used to own Brittany's Pub and Dining House, if you remember those, and Pit Grill. Pit Grill.
Pit Grill. Yeah, I do remember that.
Yeah, that was my family. And they had Librand's Furniture Store,
Right.
Baby and Me Too pageant wear. They had
It all got washed away by Katrina.
most
The
of
whole
it.
thing.
So we have one. We have one little diner in Slidell now.
That's sweet.
Wow.
So
Oh.
being in the service industry since I was 2, I was taking orders. I was like, okay, let's make this literal.
That is
That's
good.
But it
great.
really
Wait,
helped
can we
out
see
all
it?
of my friends. Yeah, it's on YouTube.
It's on YouTube?
It is.
Waiting on Godot. That is
Waiting on
funny as
Godot.
hell.
Very cool.
And the more you watch it, the more you get paid from YouTube, remember?
Well, that's
There
a good
you
point.
go.
We can fill up the tank with the Mercedes.
So watch it.
Hey, is the Mercedes out here? Outside? Is it serious?
Yes, it's
Okay.
outside.
So we can go for a spin?
Sure.
Afterwards. Awesome. Okay. Hey, Jack, so where are we with the film? You shot half of it?
Yeah, about half of it, I would say.
Okay.
We're setting up locations for the rest of the shoots. I've set the most of the action shoots to be at the end in case any of the wardrobe gets ruined. So I'm trying to
start
be
thinking
practical
like that, I suppose.
with it. Yeah.
And are you shooting both the three exclamation
At the same
point versions?
time,
So you
yeah.
shoot one scene shitty and then one scene great.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty much how it goes.
God, I'd love to see a bit of
Yeah.
that.
Sounds really
That's
cool.
funny.
Yeah. Do you have some of that?
I've got a trailer from Script A, which is what I'm referring to, the
A.
one that I wrote most recently. The one I wrote when I was 6 is Script B. But yeah, the trailer I put together for Script A actually is part of a package to try and get approval from Washington Parish for using some of their exteriors at Mile Branch Settlement, which is a really neat.
You're trying to
historical
convince
sort of
these
thing.
guys that the movie's good enough.
Right? It's
Why
like
don't you
it's
just
not
take
just
a bit
it's
of
not
Django
just
Unchained and send it to them? You think they're going to know anything?
Well, it's mainly, I think, just so I can prove to them, it's not just a bunch of guys fucking around. It's, we're actually trying to do
Goddamn
something
movie.
with this.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Okay. So back to your rock and roll career with all these different bands you have going. Then all the Troublemakers is like a 50s band,
Right. No, the
And-
Troublemakers 50s.
And what is the currently nameless trio? Is it like a jazz?
Yeah,
thing?
that's something new. That's we take sort of elements of jug band and vaudeville, and we do mostly songs from like the turn of the century. And we just it's me.
Which century are we talking?
20th century.
Not the 21st century,
Right, not the
which would be
21st
like
century, which would
Wham or
need,
something.
we'd all have to have synths and
Right.
computers. Or
That
some
would be
shit.
cool.
There's a market for that. Don't,
Yeah, I would think
Oh
so.
no, there's a market for.
I love
everything.
Wham.
Exactly. There's a market for everything.
There is now. So,
There is
so
now.
what sort of stuff is it?
It's
big
like
band or something?
no, it's more like jug band, vaudeville kind of stuff. It's me on guitar, ukulele, or accordion, depending on which song it is.
Oh, you play accordion?
Yes, I just picked it up about 5 months ago, and really sort of having a lot of fun with that.
Yeah, that's
and
a
then
great
there's a
instrument.
guy on stand-up bass and a banjo player, and all of us sing. And it's I think
Cool.
it's really cool.
So
We
what
have
is a
lot of
jug
fun.
band?
A jug band is sort of I've never really had to define it before, but it's kind of like you're sort of
Andrew can tell you.
yeah.
no,
No,
go ahead. I
no,
want to
don't put it
hear
on
what you
you.
say.
Sort of like Appalachian hillbilly kind of thing.
okay.
But it comes from
Bill
the guy.
Bailey.
It comes
I
from the
think-
guy holding the empty jug.
Right.
Yeah, that's sort of where it gets its name.
Gotcha.
Somebody just blowing on top of a
It
jug.
sounds sort of like an early tuba kind of.
You got it.
What are
But
you
yeah,
gonna,
it's
are you
got
going to
that
play
kind of-
one of those songs from
Sure,
from
yeah.
the jug band era?
Yeah, let's do that.
Wait, you have a jug?
No.
Oh, okay.
This
Must
is
be got that
this is an
actual-
old Billy Mayhew tune called "It's a Sin to Tell a Lie."
Oh yeah, okay. Jack Locke, JAKLOCKE with his ukulele.
Be sure it's true when you say I love you. It's a sin to tell a lie. Millions of hearts have been broken just because these words were spoken. I love you, yes I do, I love you. If you break my heart, I'll die. So be sure that it's true when you say I love you. It's a sin to tell a lie. Be sure it's true when you say I love you. It's a sin to tell a lie. Millions of hearts have been broken just because these words were spoken. I love you, yes I do, I love you. If you break my heart, I'll die and then I'll kill you. So be sure that it's true when you say I love you. It's a sin to tell a lie. It's a sin to tell a lie. It's a sin to tell a lie.
Jack,
That's That's awesome.
Isn't it?
Wow.
Can you believe it? You can just sit there and do that.
Wow,
Good
you have
job.
mad
Thank you very
talent.
much.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
I'm not going to say
Incredible.
anything the rest of the show.
That's what I've always said, don't I, Andrew? You can be as funny and
Wow.
as gorgeous as you like, but you can't actually do that. It's amazing, isn't it?
That's
To be able to
hard.
sing like
Really?
that.
Yeah, it's
I know.
hard.
It's a lesson you got to learn in
Fine.
college. You know, if you don't pick up a guitar by college, and drop the panties, you
over.
got to figure it out.
The butt glue.
And the guitar drops him, the ukulele brings him right back up.
That's right. Yep.
You know what? I could tell like you enjoy really doing that. You were like in your element and you were
Oh,
like
I love
loving
that
it.
stuff. Yeah, that's sort of my new thrill right now. Is
How
the
did you
vaudeville
discover
stuff.
that?
I got involved with burlesque troops in 2011. I was part of Razorblade Waltz Review, which is sort of a gorelesque kind of thing, which sort of mixes burlesque with horror, blood kind of gore stuff.
I only person
There's
I know
something
in the
for all
world who would
types.
say that sentence is you. Razor blade what?
Waltz, Razorblade Waltz
Waltz.
Review. It's not around
How
anymore.
would you
but,
find that even?
So
But through that, I met Judith, who runs the Freak Show to Go, which is a more traditional burlesque cabaret carnival circus.
Where I bet they
kinda.
use butt glue.
I do.
I'm
They use
almost
something.
sure.
They
That
They
seems to be
do.
the topic of this show,
They
right?
use something to hold the pasties on their nipples, right?
Right.
Oh,
We,
God.
yeah, because we had that whole conversation with one of those burlesque.
Spirit
Cherry
gum or
Brown, who was on
something.
the show, she told us that what they use is some sort of spirit gum. I don't think she rips off a whole layer of her skin when she pulls it off. She didn't mention that.
No, those things will fall off in like the July or August shows when it's really hot and steamy. Yeah, those sometimes
You're
July
will
or
have,
August, you say?
You got it. Yeah, Always Lounge. Perfect. Check it out.
I
We
got a
do
question.
it monthly.
So you said you're just into this style. Do you feel like you sing with that same kind of creepy, beautiful vibrato thing with the other styles, or is that just kind of what you're
The
adding?
vibrato, yeah, it just kind of comes out
Yeah.
in almost
So-
everything I do. I try to do different voices to sort of fit the style, like the 50s band. When I'm doing that, we're doing songs from like Fats Domino and Roy Orbison and Elvis, so there's all these sorts of things. So it's less of me singing and more of me doing vocal impressions for that show.
Cool.
And when did you realize you could sing like that?
I don't know.
Were you just at home one day, 6 writing your
No,
script
I
and then
started
said, "Oh,
off.
singing"?
I started off. I've been into music for a long time, but I would sing, but it wouldn't sound very good until I decided that I got to a point where I figured out I wanted to do music, but if I was going to do it, I wanted to do it well. So I would just record myself constantly playing different things, either my own stuff or other people's, and I would just listen for what I did not like about my voice and then figure out how do I change that, whether it's like raising the vowel here or dropping it, opening the throat more for this vowel, sibilants and consonants and stuff like that. Getting very detailed with it, but it's
How did you know what to do? I mean, that's why people go to a vocal coach.
I didn't. I just knew what I liked in other vocalists, and so I kind of picked some of my favorite vocalists and just
Tiny
kinda,
Tim?
No.
I was thinking of Tiny Tim when you were singing that.
At the end, huh?
Yeah. He's great, though.
It's the uke. That's what.
That's what does it.
That's what draws
who
the.
were you listening to in those days when you how old were you at this point?
I was about, I guess, 17, 18, 19.
okay.
I was listening to really a wide variety of different vocal styles, like Beck and Bob Dylan and Green Day and stuff like that.
Do you have a
and
very
then, like,
deep
the
speaking
old-
voice?
Yeah.
That,
Right.
Chet was saying you have a good voice for radio and
Yeah.
television. Do you sing in that voice ever, this deep voice?
Not usually. No, I tend actually more toward the higher stuff and falsetto leaps and stuff like that because that's more fun for me.
I would imagine it is. Bree, do you sing as well?
I do sing.
What do you sing? What sort of stuff?
Broadway.
Really?
Fantastic.
I'm a Broadway girl.
What do you know, Jack? Let's go. Let's do this.
Are you and I the only two non-singers at this table?
Yeah, I don't sing anything.
I don't
So when
sing
you're
anything.
writing
I
a
can't sing at
musical.
all.
Me
But
either.
maybe if we could teach ourselves, we'd get a cassette player
Right.
and we sit in our room and model ourselves. Who would you like to sing
Singing
like,
them.
though? Who's your Chet? If you could sing like somebody, who would it be?
Well, that's a good question. I don't know. I consider myself a very bad singer, kind of like a bad cook. So I don't really know.
Maybe you could go into the country's worst singer.
That's a new
You
show,
and I
right?
could both do that.
Exactly.
How did you get into the world's? What's it called? America's Worst Cooks.
Yeah, worst cooks in
How
America.
did you get Worst Cooks in America? How did you get into that? How did you find out about it? And audition? Do you have to audition?
You do actually. One of my very dear friends, Alana, said to me one time we were like having a party at her house, and she goes, "What are you gonna bring?" And I'm like, "I'm gonna bring the wine." And she goes, why? I said, because I'm an awful cook. And then she said, well, okay, I think there's this show that's called Worst Cooks in America. And so talked to my agent. And
Who's your agent?
Somebody out of California,
Okay.
Cynthia Magnum.
Like a real agent.
Yeah, like Brie. I mean,
Right. And your real this is a performance agent, like an acting agent, or okay, so you're an actor as well.
Somewhat.
Right.
And so we sent an audition tape where I almost burned my kitchen on fire.
Hang on a second.
Okay.
So your actual agent who lives in LA and California and has an agency and has to make a certain amount of money on her clients, assumedly, says to you, yes, this is a great idea.
Right.
I want you to go on The Worst Cook in America. How do you
Well,
how does
it's
she
not
make
that
any-
easy. You
how do-
don't just...
No, but why would she even think that's a good idea?
Well, I guess it's kind of like would be a stepping stone to like the next level in a career. So
Just this publicity.
Yes.
Just so you can say, he's this really handsome guy who was on The Worst Cooks
Well,
in
thank
America.
you. Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
I guess that's
Well, it was
Well,
saying
yeah, he is
hypothetically.
I'm just saying that's the sort of stupid thing an agent would say, right?
right.
But he's good looking, right? Bree is a professional
yes.
beauty expert. He's a good looking guy, right?
He's beautiful.
Thank you.
Beautiful.
Thanks.
Okay. When's the last time someone told you you're beautiful? Probably just yesterday.
Yesterday. Just kidding.
So how did you? So she said, "Okay, let's do it." So you make an audition tape where you burn down the kitchen,
Right,
Well,
right.
that was like what you put a chicken in the oven and bring it out on fire. It was
Well,
fake, right? I
No, it really wasn't. The really ironic part of this is I grew up in Southwest Louisiana, and my grandmother actually grew up on a plantation, a place called Patouville, where it's a sugarcane plantation, where she was actually the house lady for the people that owned the plantation. She was the cook. She cleaned. She raised the children.
When are we talking about here? What era?
I guess 1930s, 40s.
In the 30s. Okay. Yeah.
And so before she died, she got a little cookbook. So she actually had some cooking recipes that she was, really great at. And so I cooked one of the recipes out of her cookbook, which I didn't do it justice, of course, because, I made tomato casserole, which I almost, burned down my kitchen. So we sent that.
Tomato casserole. That doesn't sound even that difficult, does it?
No.
What goes into tomato casserole from Grandma's cookbook?
It's like tomato, ground beef, just, I don't know, other things. I don't remember. Of course, I don't
Onions,
remember. Onions,
peppers.
yeah. Yes. And of course, I didn't cut any of that up. I bought the stuff already pre-cut.
Okay.
I do the same thing.
Do you?
Yes, indeed.
Yeah. And so I made it and, got the all in the pan too hot and kind of, caught it on fire. So
On purpose, or you just
No, really.
really a klutz?
No, really. I just, I don't feel comfortable in the kitchen, and I don't like really getting into things that I don't feel comfortable with. So,
Speedo.
I'm the same way.
so my
Wait, you don't like to cook, Brie?
Oh
either?
no, I'm trying. I can make cupcakes.
that's hey, bacon's the hardest thing.
No, cupcakes are simple.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that is
guys
my
should
one
get
thing
to-
I can make.
Because that's fake and bake. She don't really, you don't do it from scratch, right? You just,
I did. The
Oh,
first time I
wow.
ever really attempted, I did it from scratch. I was like, I went to Magnolia Bakery when I was in New York, and I was like,
The
"Psh,
best
I could do
cupcakes,
that.
yeah.
I know. Oh my god.
Yeah.
What's in a cupcake? Flour, butter, and
And an orgasm.
It's
It's really
that's
that
the
good.
best.
Slogan.
that really is.
No, seriously, they're that good. So I came home and I was like, I can do that. So I found a recipe that said it was those exact cupcakes, and I did it. And I think I did it pretty much almost like they did.
That's awesome.
And that is what I can cook. So
Okay.
we're gonna live off cupcakes.
So that's not a bad thing to be able
No.
to make. So you sent in the audition tape, and they said, "Okay, this guy really can't cook for real."
Right.
And you were trying to be serious about it. I
Oh,
see.
very serious.
Right.
And so they sent in the audition tape. They called me on Saturday afternoon, and they said, this is the casting agent from Worst Cooks in America. You have been casted on the show. We have a plane ticket waiting for you on Monday. And I was
Like you have no life. You just
exactly.
go-
That's how it works.
That's how it works.
Really?
Yeah.
Always.
If
And
you
I
want to
said,
be a star, you have to just screw everybody
You have to
up.
have no life.
And I
From
said,
the
well,
beginning.
I have a business here. I do other stuff. They're like, well, the ticket's going to be ready. I said, can we push it off till Tuesday just so I can get stuff ready? And so I flew out Tuesday morning, and I lived in New York for about 2 months without any contact with anybody. I can only talk to one person for a week at a time for 15 minutes, and that was it.
It's like being in jury duty or sequestered in a murder
yeah,
trial.
like in the
Totally.
military. So
What's that all about? So that you couldn't tell anyone whether you'd been on to the next round or
Yeah.
you'd been kicked out?
Yes.
If you get kicked out of these things early on, like you have to stay there anyway, so nobody...
No, some shows they do send you home. I mean, they keep you there, but this show they keep you for a day, do your interviews, and then they send you home. So
you must have stuck it out a long way.
I did.
You get all the way... Is it? I don't know.
It's still going on, so I can't really talk about it unless
You're
you
not
have
allowed to say-
$750,000 to give me to, breach my.
If I had $750,000,
You wouldn't be sitting here, right?
I would have bought the red Mercedes that's sitting outside. So you can't say anything about whether you got
can't.
kicked out or whether you won or anything.
No, I can't.
Well, he obviously didn't win because he just said it's still going on.
But I'm still. It was pre-recorded, so it's.
Oh, it's still going on.
Oh, right, the
TV.
show. I understood. Same
I
page
see.
now.
That's so
Okay,
cool.
Yeah.
but you can't say whether you're the worst cook in America or not. 'Cause
Well, no,
that
I
would be
think
a
being
great
on,
title.
I know. I think being on the show for a while, I don't consider myself the worst cook anymore. I mean, Bobby Flay was my teacher, so instructor, so it was kind of cool. You know, I don't think he,
Do
he
you-
taught me some good techniques.
Do
Actually,
you have his phone number?
I do. Why do you want to talk to him?
Well, it'd be cool to call him up. Wouldn't it? He's that guy that does that. What's that called? That show he does.
He was on Entourage.
Showdown, yeah.
Showdown.
Throwdown.
Throwdown.
Yeah.
That's great. Now that's a good show. I've seen that one.
Yeah.
So what station is this thing on?
It's on
What
the Food
channel?
Network, and
So it's pretty big, I would imagine. Then.
It is. It's,
So
it's,
okay, so let's see how good your agent really is. Then what happened? Have you got any work out of this? Are people calling up saying, "Who's that handsome guy?"
well, it's funny. I'm interviewing next week to host a show on HGTV.
That's awesome.
Yep. So some good stuff has come out of
sure
it. But
has.
you know the thing that I really have gotten out of this is the overwhelming love and support that the people in New Orleans and around the country have given me. And it's been a lot of kids that has been like, been real supportive. Like my friend Dino that used to live here and moved away said that his daughter absolutely loves watching me on the show. So I don't know if it's because I'm animated or kids think it's like a kid show or something. But it's been really interesting just to see the love and support from all the people, especially in New Orleans, because everything I did and every dish I made sure that I gave it a part of Louisiana or a part of New Orleans. I called my hamburger the Who Dat Burger, or everything always has to do with something about being from New Orleans because I love this place. So I wanted to be sure that people knew that I was representing it to the best of my ability.
Wow, how cool! And so if you get the show on HGTV on House and Garden, is it HG?
HGTV.
HGTV. What sort of show would that be? Okay,
Well,
are you allowed to say anything?
No. Well, HGTV is looking for four hosts for four different shows, and I can't really say what they
Well,
are.
just tell us this much. Could we be guests on it? All
Do you
of
have
us?
a house that needs renovated?
Yes. Don't we?
So
don't we
does
all?
everybody,
Yeah,
right?
God. I would love you to come. So that's what it's about. It's about renovation.
It's
shows.
about it's four different concept shows about
Right.
different renovation process. How it works. I think one's like seniors and man thrown. So it's those kind of things. So they
Okay.
test you to see which one you would be the perfect host
Oh,
for.
how great if you get that.
Yeah.
We'll keep an eye on that. Boy, Andrew, can you believe these guys have come on the show? We're like, we're like slumming. They're slumming it here with us.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
No, I'm thrilled to be here.
This
It's
is
great.
fun.
Yeah, I love it.
I'm a little intimidated now. I know.
How much
these
more time do
guys-
they have?
I know. I'm scared. Hey, you want to play a song, Andrew?
Sure, I'll play a tune.
Okay. And then we'll make Jack play
That's
something else.
that's tough to follow. You better bring your A game.
I got to follow you. I don't have to
No,
follow
Jack.
him. You were just talking.
You got to follow Jack. You got your ukulele?
I didn't bring my guitar. I brought my harmonica and play a simple tune.
Okay.
The song's called Old Woman. It's a true story.
Okay.
It goes like this. Well, I know an old woman who lives on my street. They call her a beggar, but she's nice to me. Yeah, she sits neath my window most every morning, and she reads my paper before I rise from sleep. Yeah, she sits neath my window and she sings to me a song about her lover in a ship on the sea. It's that same sad, salty song every morning. I don't know the words, but it's this melody. And when she's done with my paper, she folds it up neat and wanders her way somewhere down the street. When I open my front door, there at my feet, spent cigarettes in a 50-cent piece. Yeah, I know an old woman who lives on my street. They call her a beggar, but she's nice to me. Yeah, I know an old woman who lives on my street. They call her a beggar, but she's nice to me.
That was fantastic.
Thanks, y'all.
What do you think of that, Chad?
Well, you know, I was just thinking, like when you hear him playing and singing, and when you hear him playing and singing, like in a design world, I'll look at somebody's design and go, "Oh yeah, that's great, but I could do better." Do musicians do the same thing?
It depends on the attitude that I pick up from the musician. Usually, like if I'm doing a show with another band or another artist, if they've got this foul attitude or something, yeah, I'm more inclined to be judgmental.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
in cases like this, it's like, you know, I listen
Exactly
to
the same.
Right. No. No, it's like I'll listen and, you know, I can appreciate it on a number of different levels as a listener, as a fellow musician. I can, you know, maybe pick up, you know, techniques that he's doing that I haven't thought of, you know.
These two
Totally.
guys are real artists.
There's a
Yeah.
but you speak of something very real and true, that you get on a 3-band bill and you show up and there's totally that butt sniffing going on to see who's going to be a prick, you know, who's cool. And the pricks, you're like, when you get up there, you just got your arms folded like, I hope you suck, man. I hope you suck.
I want to see you fall and burn.
Yeah.
It's
Totally.
horrible, but I mean, it's true.
Yeah.
You know, I think it's human nature.
Yeah.
Right.
to a certain
But when they're
degree.
cool, you're like, yeah, you want to.
Yeah,
why
you
not?
want to
Support
see
them.
them succeed.
Sure.
Even when they suck, you find something good to say about
Yeah,
them.
there was something cool I heard from a Loyola professor who was, you know, teaching me the ropes a little bit about the music biz, and something he said about, you know, you're all looking for a piece of the pie, you as in all you kids who are trying to play music, but when somebody else gets a piece of the pie, you shouldn't be jealous. The pie is gigantic, you know, so
Right.
hope everybody gets a piece because there's plenty. You know?
One of the most horrible things that I've ever heard, and I've heard it from so many different people that I've performed with on, you know, on the same bill or something. It's like I've had a couple of them actually tell me, you know, because I'll tell them good luck, break a leg, that kind of thing, and you know, I'll either hear through hearsay or some have actually told me to my face, you know, well, you know, we kind of don't want you to do good because you're our competition. You know, and that's a horrible, poisonous sort of mindset
Absolutely.
to have in any kind of creative.
But you said it, Chet.
outlet.
You said it yourself. You said when Andrew started to play, you better be pretty good because you have to follow
Right.
Jack.
Right.
I mean, you do have to follow each other as musicians, and we do compare.
Sure.
It's like there is a beauty contest going on.
Right.
Well,
It is exactly
Different
the
way.
opposite in the beauty world, though. Everyone
Really?
is so encouraging of one another. And when you see movies like
Jealous.
Miss Congeniality,
Yeah.
it's they don't portray it like that, but everyone's so nice to one another.
But don't you walk in? I mean, it's a competition. Don't you walk in and say, "Oh, thank God, all these girls are ugly"?
No, not at all. Because you have to think
Why
of it.
not?
I mean, usually it's men judging you, and if the man judging wants a tall brunette, he certainly isn't going to want me. You know, and
How
if the
tall are
guy
you?
judging, I'm 4'10". And if the guy wants a tiny blonde with big hair, hello, I got it. I mean,
Well, it's an interesting
There's-
analogy.
there's
that's kinda
nothing I
struck
can
there.
do. I mean, all I can do is be the best me. But granted,
Right.
you know, if you want not me, I'm not going to win.
You know, speaking of that you brought up a good point. When I was judging that pageant this weekend, I was really nervous, but I went into it thinking, okay, I'm going to look for the girl that is the smartest. I'm not going to look for the girl that's like the most beautiful one. And I was kind of shocked by some of the answers to some of the questions that I got when
Because
I
they're
w-
stupid.
No, they were very, very smart young ladies. But, you know, one of the questions I asked the girl, like, what would be your platform if you would win? How would you, represent Miss LSU? And she goes, well, I never really thought about that. What do you mean by a platform? And so, but she was beautiful.
Well, it's a beauty contest, right?
Right.
Why do you have to be smart? Do you have to be everything? Isn't being beautiful
You do.
enough?
You have to be everything.
But why? Isn't
When
being
I judge pageants,
what is
I
that with
always
that?
pick the one that
That's-
pushes the bill.
Yep.
The one that says something a little off color that doesn't want to be cookie cutter. I don't
Right.
like cookie cutter beauty queens.
So if you're giving someone advice, someone's listening to this and they think, I'd like to be a beauty pageant contestant. Both of you
Be
guys.
different.
What's the advice? What
I
do you,
think-
What
yeah,
does that mean?
I
Andrew,
think-
you want to weigh in on this
Yeah,
one?
I think you should
Funny
either
idea,
push
right
the envelope, as Bree is saying, or just be smoking hot and keep your mouth shut.
That's
a
what
good
I would
point.
go for.
When I did pageants, of course, they ask you, like, who is your role model? And then you have to do a talent. And everybody
Right.
does stupid Yankee Doodle, twirling their batons. You don't want to see that crap anymore.
Right.
When I did talent, I
Is
did
twirling their
cell block
batons,
tango.
is that literal, twirling their batons?
No,
or is
like
that,
fire batons
is that
to
metaphorical?
Yankee Doodle.
Really?
Literally.
That's what they do. And what did you do?
I did cell block tango from Chicago, which, if you're familiar with Chicago, it's about killing your husbands. And in there, you say screwing the milkman.
Oh.
Wow.
And nobody
do you get
else
kicked out
did.
like Jack
One
Locke does?
pageant I did get kicked out. They asked me not to come back
That hasn't
because I
happened
was
in a
too
couple years
controversial.
Yeah,
And then
see,
other people said, this is so different. This is original. I'm not singing God Bless America. I
what
did
is the
something
definition?
different.
I mean, this is a stupid question, I suppose, but what is the definition of a beauty pageant if you have to be smart? I mean,
Well, beauty is in the eye of the beholder.
It's everything.
Yeah,
beer
it's a
holder.
package
You
deal.
have to be eloquent and confident.
but why?
Beauty's everything.
Why do you? Is it really though?
It is. You
Couldn't
have
I
to
just
be a
look at you
total
and think you're
package.
beautiful?
No.
Why can't I do that? Why do I? Why do you
Because
then
she
have to?
can't
keep her
why
mouth
do you-
shut.
But has it always been like? Has it always been like this? I mean, wasn't Miss America at one point they just paraded around and we all
Yes.
thought that? And then at some point someone said they have to do something. They have to be talented or something. Well, I can't understand.
They had to raise the bar
Yeah, but
every year.
do you know why that is though? Does anyone check?
Yeah,
why
because
is
if
it?
you have
Andrew.
a beer with the girl at the corner of the bar and then she starts talking gibberish, she's not hot anymore.
Exactly.
You know?
But everything evolves.
I hope,
So I think
right?
that's what Bree's saying, that, they right now you have to have beauty and brains. You can't just have one or the other. And I think that's with everybody. You can't just be good looking and then have nothing to say.
That sucks though, doesn't it? I mean, it used to be. It used to be enough. Why do you have to have everything? Why wouldn't it be enough just to be born beautiful? I mean, isn't that enough?
No, that would
No.
be very sad, actually.
What
if-
Yeah,
That's boring.
I think that would be very sad.
You lower your standards after a few drinks. So what if we gave the judges like 5 shots of Jameson before? That would be fun.
Do you know that Bree's never had a drink in her life?
Is that right?
That's true.
It's in her bio, which she sent us.
Wow.
Said I've never had a drink or never tried pot.
No.
Well,
Neither have I.
I've got a nice. What?
No.
You've never had a drink?
Well, I've had a drink. I don't drink at all, but I've never tried any type of drugs.
Okay, today's the day.
We have
We've brought along some weed. Yeah.
I want Chet to be my new best friend.
Thank
You've-
Hang
you.
out every other
You
day.
grew up in Louisiana. You grew up in North. And where did you say?
Southwest Louisiana, New Iberia.
New Iberia, and everybody must have been smoking weed out there. That's all they
Well, I
got to
don't know.
do,
That's a
right?
pretty general statement. I don't know.
Well, maybe not your grandmother, but everybody else mostly. And how did you decide not to do that?
I guess because my dad, growing up, would drink beer like every night, and he would drink beer like drinking water. And my brothers kind of drank a lot too. And I think growing up, I didn't really want to follow in that. And I didn't
Are you
really
the
wanna-
youngest?
I am the youngest, so I didn't really want to follow in that. And after my dad, passed away, I probably related that to he passed away because of all of the drinking. So I never became a thing for me, you
Right.
know. And I'm proud to say I don't drink, but I can still have a good time. When people say, God, you're drunk, what are you drinking? That.
Yeah,
So
I get that
you
too.
get that
It's like,
too?
no, that's
Yeah,
my personality. That's
exactly.
just me.
That's the best high, So I don't. You don't.
Well, you can't judge because you haven't been high other ways. So.
But the way you're looking at me, you have. You can
These
share
guys are in
that.
the music business. They
Yeah.
don't do anything like that. Bree, you grew up in restaurants and you never tried a beer or
No,
a glass
never.
of wine even.
Never. Like from a very, very young age,
On-
I always
on
wanted to be a
purpose?
role model on purpose
A role model for whom though?
for young girls. That you don't have to be the town slut. You don't have to drink and follow the rules of life. You
You
can
don't have to
be
be the town
different.
slut. There's either two choices. Either you don't drink with the town slut. I don't
Do you
know.
have to be a
Is it-
teetotaler to be a role model?
Teetotaler.
What does that mean?
Yeah.
That means you don't drink.
Right.
Oh.
Not necessarily, but I think it takes a lot of restraint not to.
Oh.
And it's not like it's a higher power. I don't believe in it. I just
Yeah.
don't.
Right. I agree.
And I wanted to be a role model saying you don't have to. You don't have to follow society norms.
Who's the town slut?
Oh, I can give you names.
Okay.
Plural.
Jack, what about one more song before we get out of here?
Okay, certainly.
What are you thinking of? What style are we into?
I don't know, something folkish maybe.
He wrote
Okay.
this when he was 5.
Yes.
In the
Here
womb.
comes the guitar. Put the ukulele down, and we're picking up a beautiful looking guitar.
That's the same ugly guitar I bring to every
That's a nice looking guitar, right, Andy?
nice, yeah.
Yeah, it looks nice to me.
It
So
would
are-
win the beauty competition of
It would.
guitars.
So are you a musician
on if
as
it's
well?
smart.
No, I don't do
No.
anything. All I can do is ask the occasional question.
I'll give you a sad song.
Okay.
Yeah, that feels right.
This
Bring
one's
us
called,
down.
Bring us
We're
down
too
a
high.
bit.
Happy hour.
Life.
Unless you want a happy song. I've got
Nope.
one of
No,
those
you
too.
whatever you want to play.
This one's called You Never Say My Name Right.
So long as we're being honest, I only wanted a 3-night tryst. And it's easy when we kiss to feel you resist, when we both know there's really nothing left here to miss. Wasn't it you who said you can try so hard, but you'll never be better than this? Lady, who am I to argue when you choose your words so obvious? Yes, you do. Your poverty's addictive, and you spend your time so wastefully. And the tears I hear, yes, I believe they're sincere when you drop them so uncontrollably. Yet the time that you defend as your only friend is also your only enemy. But you cry so good, it'd be a shame not to waste it on me. Yes, it would. On the night that we met, I can still remember the comfort of my loneliness. And nothing's really changed, I've still got all the same I had before, only less. Your hunger drew me in, but it's your hatred that made me stay. Is this your poison on my lips, or just some lingering taste of a forgotten yesterday? Now words aren't important, it's how they're spoken well. That's what you told me anyway. And I've got nothing but respect for all the ugly things you say. Yes, I do. Yes, and it's half lies I've given you, for which they are, I'm not too sure anymore. I spoke them with such honesty though, and I know it's only the presentations you adore. Sometimes I wonder what I'm still even here for. But I got nowhere else to be, and at least with you I'm not ignored. Yes, I am. Please don't tell me you didn't know there's no truth in anything I might have said. I only tried to pass by, but your gate was wide open. Besides, you looked so easily led. When I woke yesterday evening, I remembered what I'd always known. This was never my bed, no, and you even said so, but then you thought that you were alone. Somehow it never mattered whose windows were shattered from whoever cast the first stone. But how could I bring you down when you do it so well on your own? Yes, you do. So So long as we're being honest, I never really liked that song. Its words are meaningless, which reminds me what I meant to tell you all along. It wasn't you that I wanted, I just never realized I was here that long. But I got nowhere else to be, and so I'll stay even knowing it's wrong. Yes, I will.
Jack Locke. Okay, what is that called, that song, for goodness sakes?
What's that?
What do you call that song?
You never
Low-
say my name right?
You Never Say My Name Right.
Yes, that's the name of it.
Is that about someone of equally
No,
low
no,
self-esteem
it's-
as you? Or
It's it's actually
Joke.
a song about my music career. I wrote it a couple of years ago, and I was kind of getting sick of everything about it, and so I like to write if it's a song that sounds like it's about a girl, it's probably about my music career.
Oh, really?
Because she's a bitch.
Yeah.
It's a great song. It doesn't really have a chorus, which makes it great.
Right. Oh, thank you. Yeah.
Really cool. I love that. Very good. Is that on something? Can we buy that?
Yeah, that's
somewhere?
on. Gosh, what did I put that on? 365 Eulogies, which is a album I put out last year. It's just
Okay.
a 7-track EP.
We have a link to all your stuff on our website.
Oh, fantastic!
So
thanks.
if you listen to this, you can click on Jack Locke's name. It'll take you to that strange site called Warlord or some strange.
Just go to jacklock.com, jack.warlord.com.
but
the
Jack
actual
Locke is
server
okay.
name,
Jack
but-
Locke is spelled Jacklockee.
Right.
In case
Right.
you're looking
Yeah, just
for
go
that.
to jacklock.com. It'll get you there.
Okay, and
It's just
Chet,
the
where
server
can we
name.
find stuff about you? We'll have a link to your stuff on our site as well, but in case people are listening and they're on their iPod or something,
It's chetporshowdesign.com.
and that's PORCIAU.
No, it's POURCIAU.
POURCIAU.
Yeah, it's a hard last name.
ChetPorshowDesign.com.
Yes, sir.
And your store is on Magazine Street.
It is 3652 Magazine,
Which is
Street.
magazine and what?
Amelia.
Amelia. On
Right across
Riverside.
from
It's got
Baruch.
your giant photo
You
outside.
can't miss it, right? I'm shy.
Very nice. And Bree, we can find you, My Red Solara,
My Red Solar on YouTube.
on YouTube. You guys, thank you so much. And of course, Andrew's stuff, Andrew Duhon,
it's
as you
been
can
real.
find his stuff on our site all the time. It's been great having you, my guest on Happy Hour today. Have been Bree Libran, Chet Porshow, Jack Locke, and of course my sidekick, Andrew Duhon. Our show is produced by the fabulous Graham DePonte, Melinda Hawes, Trish Kaufman, and Anush Karoon. Our associate producer and technical director is Chris Kehoe. Christian Unruh is our music director, and our web designer and link to the real world is Dr. Cliff Brigden. Mitch Foreman wrote and is playing our theme song right now. The fabulous audio quality of this show is brought to you in part by PreSonus Audio Electronics. PreSonus makes some of the best audio recording and live sound products, including Studio One music production software, Studio Live digital mixing consoles, Era Studio monitors, and much more. You can visit presonus.com for more info. If you'd like to be on our show and you can stay upright for about an hour, drop us a line. Our website is itsneworleans.com, and you can find our address on there as well, where you can also check out lots more happy hours along with our other shows. Out to Lunch with Peter Raschuti live from Commander's Palace, Mindset with psychiatrist Dr. Nick Pajic, True to the Game with the fabulous Chris True and Tammy Nelson, Win-Win, our show about the New Orleans Vietnamese community with Steve Wen, Chi Wen, and Kim Vu, and Midnight Menu Plus One with Margot Moss and the man who ate New Orleans, Ray Canada. You can keep up with us by liking It's New Orleans on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, sign up for our mailing list, and if you're listening to us on iTunes or Stitcher, thank you for subscribing. Take a moment to rate and review us. That helps other people find us well. Our show is recorded live at the fabulous Casa Borrega, which is a brand new bar, restaurant, and music venue in Central City, New Orleans on Aretha Castle Haley. Not even open yet, so take a moment to go to Facebook and like Casa Borrega. Happy Hour is a production of INO Broadcasting for itsneworleans.com. For Andrew Duhon, Mitch Foreman on piano, and everyone around the table here at Happy Hour and back at the INO Broadcasting office, I'm Grant Morris. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time on Happy Hour.
Yo, if we go to 7-Eleven right now, We can be back in time for the game.
I don't know, man. I don't want to miss kickoff.
Okay, but Red Bulls are 2 for $5 right now when I use my 7-Eleven app.
Dude, but kickoff.
But how are we going to stay on top of our game while watching this game if we're not on that 7-Eleven game?
I don't know how.
Keep up, dude. 2 for $5 Red Bull with my 7-Eleven app.
Oh, yeah, okay. All right, I'm feeling you now.
Thank you.
7-Eleven. Be game day ready. Plus tax where applicable. Valid at participating locations.